I want to talk about comparing string items. We know that we should be using the dot equals when we're comparing string values, but do we really understand what's going on? Okay, so there was this really good explanation on Stack Overflow, which showed that there are really two areas where strings are being stored. You can force a string to be in the heap, and generally speaking, when we declare a string as if it's a primitive type, just like we declare primitive types, it doesn't get declared in the same place as other primitive types. There's a common pool area for our strings. And the purpose for that is just to save some space. So if we have two string values that are identical, then our references will reference the same area in this common pool area. So let's look at some code. Okay. If you look, I have just a string method down here where I'm using our primitive operator equals equals. So how does that behave? That's the question. We're going to use the debugger to really see what's going on. Okay. So first of all, what happens when we declare a string value just like we declare primitive types? Well, we get our Fred Flintstone in name1, and it refers to object 213. Name2 is object 213. They're not different objects. They're both the same object because this is the common area for strings. So we compare them and we see that they're the same. That's all expected. So name2 equals Fred Flintstone. If we do that, we're still object 213, nothing changed. But what happens if we assign a new value? We get our new value in name2, but now we're no longer looking at object 213, we have 259. Okay, so let's use new and instantiate name3. Fred Flintstone does not get object 213. It gets object 261 because now we're instantiating a string object, and that is the heap, not the common string area. Comparing 1 and 3, they're the same value, but they say that they're different. That's because we're looking at which object it is, not the contents stored for our string value. Name1 is going to equal name3. What happens? Name1 right now is 213. Name3 is 261. 213 changed to 261. Let's compare name1 and name3 now. Now they're the same because the objects are now the same. Name3 equals new string, so we're going to create Fred Flintstone in the heap and see what happens. So remember, this is what we did above. And now, even though we didn't change the contents of our object, we get a new object. So this is 263. Comparing them again now, it says that they're different. So even though we kept the value the same, we got a new object. Okay, name2 is going to equal Fred Flintstone. This is object 256. It's now object 213. And it's got the value Fred Flintstone in it. So compare 1 and 2. What do you think is going to happen? It says they're different. Okay, looking at our output, we got same, different, same, different, different. Most of the comparisons showed that we had different objects. Okay, so now we're going to go, that's supposed to be a dot here, and change from using the primitive type operator for comparison to using our string equals method. Okay, And instead of walking through step by step, we're going to run it and compare our output. Okay, let's take a look. Everything's the same. Remember, same, different, same, different, different. All I did was instead of using the primitive type operator equals equals, I changed it to the string method dot equals, and now we're comparing contents of the memory locations and not which location we're actually looking at. So if we go back here and think about it, are we checking whether we have the same string, or are we checking if those strings have the same value? Keep that in mind when you're making comparisons for string values.